Today we will talk about the ultrafiltration membrane. See, don't get panic by seeing the number of slides. These are very easy. Just go through once. Many of the things you have already heard in the class, or this is very similar as you have already studied the RO and the NF. So this is just similar with that. So just go through this, and I will just give you some important points and the important topics I will explain. I will not go through every slide and will not explain the every slide. So ultrafiltration is actually your pressure driven membrane. What happens in which the low molecular weight substances permeate through the membrane while the particles, colloids and the macromolecules are retained in the membrane. So the basic mechanism is your size exclusion. And in case of ultrafiltration, since high molecular weight species are to be retained, then your osmotic pressure is very negligible in this case of ultrafiltration, whereas the osmotic pressure plays an important role in case of your RO. And the operating pressure is also very less compared to your RO membrane. Next is your, unlike in your MF membrane, microfiltration membrane, in microfiltration membrane, the membranes are actually symmetrical pore shaped. But in case of ultrafiltration, these are anisotropic membrane and sometimes having a skin layer on it. But the skin layer is not that a non-porous skin layer. In ultrafiltration, the skin layer is also a porous skin layer. But this is a anisotropic, means the top layer structure and the bottom structure is different. So the top structure will means the top layer will be responsible for your selectivity, and your bottom layer, that is the porous part, will give you the mechanical strength. So these are very basic things and very important things. Just go through it. Just this is about the ultrafiltration membranes. You just go through once. They are nothing so important. Okay, and yes, this is table. This table is very important. So remember these data, means what is the driving force for the RO, what is the size, what is the types of membrane you use in the RO, and the membrane material. So this is important for your every kind of operation, like your RO, UF or MF. You need to remember the driving force, the size of the particle that is retained there, and the type of membrane and the membrane materials. And next is important is your modules, UF membrane modules. So I guess we have already studied 4 types of module in the class. So this is the same. In case of your ultrafiltration, these 4 modules are also included. Means ultrafiltration membrane can be of your tubular size, can be of your plate and frame, can be of hollow fiber, or can be a spiral one. So ultimately the modules you have already studied, this is the same applicable for your ultrafiltration. So this is already done in the class, or in the Kaushiknath book this is already written, so you can read from the slide or can from the book. So this is very simple. Yes, one thing, ultrafiltration membrane, the operation can be done in 2 ways. That is, one is your constant pressure and volume variable flux. So by the name you know, here what happens, the pressure is constant and the flux varies. And for this purpose, these 4 modules are available. And the next one is your constant flux but variable pressure. Here flux remains the constant and we vary our operating pressure. So for this capillary modules are capillary types of modules are applicable. Next, coming to your flux equation. Now this is important. See the flux equation. Flux equation is just the same as your RO, but as there is no important role of your osmotic pressure, cause large molecules or macromolecules are to be handled. So this is simply becoming is your JW equal to AW into del P. This is a pressure difference. So just go through these ones. Yes, and this is important. Models for UF transport. There are 3 models. 3, not no more than 3 models. I am including only 3 models. One is your pore flow model. Now, according to your pore flow model, this assumes a cylindrical pores normal to your membrane surface. So by assuming the cylindrical pores normal to the membrane surface, they have calculated the flux. So For this, if the solvent is pure, means for pure solvent or for negligible low solute concentration, the permeate flux can be calculated using Hazen-Poiseuille's equation. This is your Hazen-Poiseuille's equation for pore flow model. And from this equation we can say that we can see that this is very sensitive with the pore diameter, means the pore diameter will greatly affect your flux. Next is your concentration polarization model. Now what is concentration polarization? Just like your filtration, when we are operating the membrane, after certain time of operation, the rejected molecules will build up in your membrane wall, and then it will lead to formation of a layer, and this is termed as the concentration polarization, cause because of this build up of the rejected materials in the membrane surface, ultimately your permeate flux will be declined. So this phenomenon is actually termed as the concentration polarization. See this graph. This is your in the y-axis this is your flux, and then the x-axis this is the pressure. So for pure solvent, flux is just increasing linearly with the pressure, but as you are increasing the concentration of the solute, then flux is declining because of your concentration polarization. See the diagram, though it's not very clear, but I guess this is the same you have got in the mass transfer. But see, there's a CV is the bulk concentration, then CW, that is the concentration near the wall of the membrane, JV is your water flux, and then the permeate is the CP, that is the concentration of the permeate. So with this they have derived this equation, because for in the steady state JV into C, that is your concentration, and then this is just your mass balance. Okay, so after mass balance and after integration you will get this equation, and the above equation, that is this equation, means this is the equation they have derived with considering the model concentration polarization. So this equation is your concentration polarization layer equation. Now what happens, see in the diagram, that is the CW. CV is your bulk feed, means the bulk concentration. Now with time CW will be increasing now, because more and more molecules will be built up there, but after a certain time it will reach the limiting concentration, that is CW will not increase further. So that is your the ultimate concentration, that is we termed as CS or sometimes CG, that is the gelation concentration, means when the concentration reaches is the maximum level, this form a gel layer, means we consider this is a gel layer type, and further it will not increase and it will not increase the further concentration. So this is termed as the CS or CG. So just this is the equation, and next is your gel polarization model. I just told that as the result of the concentration polarization effect, concentration of solute at the membrane surface increases compared to that of bulk concentration. Eventually solutes form a slimy layer known as gel if a limiting concentration Cg is reached. Cg is nothing but your CW. This is the maximum limit of your CW, and this is now after forming the gel layer. Suppose you have already a membrane, cause of membrane you are getting a flux, and membrane has its own resistance. This resistance is termed as Rm, and after forming the gel layer, this gel layer will also give a resistance. So that resistance is your Rg, just like your filtration. So total resistance will be combined of that. So now in this model they are considering that means first model in the pore model cylindrical shape, and then they have derived the flux equation. In that concentration polarization we have derived with the CB and the CW, that is the bulk, that is the feed concentration and the concentration near the wall. And in this model, gel polarization model, they have assumed that concentration in the wall of the membrane reaches to the maximum limit, and a gel layer is already formed, and then they are including the resistance of the gel layer also. So these three are the flux equation. Okay, so just go through once. I know in this slide I am explaining very fast and not like the previous slide that explaining one line by line. But this is actually very difficult to make lectures in the video lectures, rather it is very easy in explaining the class. But I am always here and always ready. You can ask me a lot of questions. I will get back to you with a audio or with a text, but unless until you are not reading or you are not getting any question, that is not easy for me to explain every lines and every things, and rather you are just saving your slides, then I will read in the exam. So I am not interested in giving much effort. So better this time you study this and come with your confusions. Basically the three models are very important. See, first there was just introduction. The slide I have skipped. Actually there is nothing important, just go through that. That was the introduction. Next is you got the modules already you have studied. Okay, fine. Next is come to your that three models. Now three models I have explained little, that with the three assumptions, and just with the three assumptions they have derived the flux equation. This is the big thing. There are three flux equation they have derived with the three different assumptions, or in case of three different conditions. So this is just you need to study. Next is your membrane rejection. Membrane rejection is already done in the class. In the second or third class, I have given one or two problem even in the class and you have solved. This is same as that rejection. So just go through this. And finally, the factor affecting the UF performance. Generally what will affect? As it's a pressure driven, so pressure will affect it, temperature will affect, then concentration is also affect, because more the concentration will build up in the membrane wall, it will affect your operation. So these are the operating pressure, operating temperature and salt concentration. Now see, there are many points. You need to remember all of the things. You just read once how pressure is affecting, how temperature is affecting, how salt concentration is affecting. That is enough. And next is the fouling or the flux-Dix line. Now fouling caused from the concentration polarization. Concept is same. Molecules will build up in the near the wall and it will decline your permeate flux, and this is we call the fouling. So this is something about the fouling and the flux-Dix line, and after that just how to remove the fouling. So I don't think there is very tough things, but you need to study, and definitely you will get problems studying from the PDF and from the lecture note. This is very new to you, so definitely it will be problematic. But if you give some effort and then if you talk to me or if you ask me question, then it will be more better, rather than just I am giving the effort and reading the slides and making the videos. Okay, thank you.